Good afternoon. My name is Virgil Breed, and this is my second post. If you had the opportunity to watch my first post, then you will know that I am here to take on and to fight the corruption in the Mississippi court system. It is far more vast than what people know. I'm also going to be approaching the myriad of problems that are associated with the Mississippi Department of Corrections. What I'm doing essentially is starting a war, and this war is going to last me for the rest of my life. And it's because people in Mississippi are being hurt, and I can't sit by and do nothing. I was locked up for 18 years in the Mississippi Department of Corrections, and I never had any realistic, and I repeat, realistic opportunity to present my case in court. That story, as I have already mentioned, is told in my books, a series called River of Fire. And you can read about that when I have the opportunity to get these published, which hopefully won't take too long. Right now, I don't have the funds, but I'm working on that. So what I'm doing right now is trying to give everybody an idea of what to expect, because I'm going to do everything I can to make this as public a fight as is possible. Very soon I'm going to be going to Jackson. I'm going to petition our legislature to speak before them. I'm going to go to the Mississippi Department of Corrections. I'm going to ask to speak with Mr. Burl Cain, who is the current commissioner of the Mississippi Department. And I will probably also go to the Mississippi Bar Association and possibly even the Mississippi Ethics Commission and ask to speak with them. I want you to know that I'm going to ask to speak to these individuals and these groups with all due respect. But as I've already said, if I am refused, then one way or another, I'm going to get some attention. I may have to get out on the steps with a bullhorn, but if I have to do that, I will. This is too important. People in Mississippi are being hurt. You, as a Mississippi citizen, are being hurt. So as I post these videos, I'm going to ask that after you watch them, that you make a comment in the comment section. I don't care whether the comment is good or bad. I will use those comments to structure the path that I take to fight this fight. And I hope it turns out that it's the path that we take to fight this fight. I don't know if you've had a loved one locked up in the state of Mississippi. Maybe you have been locked up in the state of Mississippi. If that was a just incarceration, then you serve the time that you should have served. There are unfortunately too many times whenever an incarceration is not just. And that doesn't mean that everybody who's incarcerated didn't do what they were accused of. Many times in Mississippi, a sentence is handed down and it's not a constitutional sentence. And that word constitution is really the crux, it's the radix of everything I'm going to do, because Mississippi judges, in particular the Court of Appeals in Mississippi and the Mississippi Supreme Court, have gotten far away from the Constitution. We do have, and we have had, some very good judges. You will notice that when I refer to the Supreme Court of Mississippi, I'm very careful about not using the word justice in referring to one of the judges, but simply calling them a judge. They are a justice if they follow the law. They are a justice if they follow our Constitution and that Constitution of the United States, which is supposed to govern us. We have had and have some justices. Justice Dickinson, a man who followed the Constitution the best he could. I didn't always agree with what Justice Dickinson said, but I have tremendous respect, and we're going to be quoting him quite often because of the things that he has said related to the fight that we're in right now. When I start to go to Jackson, I'm going to post that schedule ahead of time. I'll let you know where I'm going to be and when I'm going to be there. I'm going to show up a little early, and I'm going to ask that any of you who might wish to please come out and meet me. I want it understood that I go with respect to the offices that I approach. I am not going to get out on the sidewalk or on their footsteps, their doorsteps, and start using vulgarities or suggest any kind of violence. I will approach respectfully. And if you come out to meet me, I ask that you do the same thing. Now, approaching respectfully doesn't mean that you have to be quiet and not be adamant. If you've been hurt by the state of Mississippi, and you're being hurt every day by the corruption in our courts, then you have the right to speak and to speak fervently and fiery, and that's okay. But we cannot let ourselves fall to the level of thugs and vigilantes and those things that are not acceptable. This cause is going to go on for a long time. We don't want to build up a name for ourselves which says that we are less than respectful about the things that we're approaching. Now, you don't have to have respect for the court. You don't have to have respect for the Mississippi Department of Corrections. In many ways, I don't have respect for either of those entities, nor do I have a lot of respect for the Mississippi Bar Association. But that doesn't mean that our approach can be in the form of a riotous group. If you come and meet me, and if you would like to speak on a video that I'll be making at the time, then all I ask is that you speak with respect, honestly, and openly. If you speak fiery words and words that are filled with ardence, I understand, because I'm going to do the same thing. But I want to make it so very clear, and that's the reason that I reiterate, that when I do post these times and I tell you where I'm going to be and who I'm going to be approaching, I sincerely beg you to come out and let your voice be heard. Right now, I'm the only one, and that's okay. It has to start somewhere, and it's starting with me. So if you come out and we all get together, then let all of those people that we will be approaching know that we are dead serious, that we're not frightened, that we don't back down, but that we approach the way that we should approach. I hope that you agree with what I have to say, but that doesn't mean you have to. I hope that you can put yourself in the mind frame to be ready to fight. But that fight does not mean anything violent. As I said, this is the second post that I will have made. I hope you had an opportunity to see the first post, and if you haven't, please go back and watch it. That post, like this post, is not scripted. I'm not reading off of anything. I'm talking to you from the heart. The fight that I'm taking up is one that I believe in, and it's because of the corruption in our courts. And I want to define the term corruption in some ways, at least. Whenever a court acts contrary to the Constitution, and especially when they do so knowingly and willingly, then they are corrupt. They have broken the solemn oath that a judge sitting on the Mississippi Supreme Court, or sitting on the Court of Appeals, or even the pointy courts, the lesser courts, the courts in each county, when they break that constitutional vow, they have become corrupt. We often see the same thing happening with district attorneys, and unfortunately sometimes with Mississippi lawyers. So that gives you an idea of what the corruption is that I'm going to approach. Corruption might be, in many people's minds, the thought that, well, if you're corrupt, you're taking a bribe. I'm not accusing the Mississippi courts of taking bribes, although sometimes we have to wonder because of some of the ridiculous things that they say. Whenever the court makes an assize, whenever they issue an opinion, and it comes out of God knows where, because sometimes it doesn't come from the Constitution or the law, then you kind of wonder what's going on. But corruption, in the sense that I'm approaching more than anything else, is the corruption associated with a failure to follow our Constitution. Most of you know that Mississippi has the highest per capita rate of individuals locked up of any state in the nation. There was a time when our sister state, Louisiana, was called the most corrupt state in the nation. Now, guess where that claim lies? It lies here in Mississippi. I get very angry, I get very upset when Mississippi winds up on the bottom of every list that comes along, because I have loved Mississippi for as long as I can remember, and we're never off the bottom. Somewhere, somebody's got to come to their senses. We've got to do things differently. I mentioned in my last video that the Mississippi Department of Corrections is given a budget every year of approximately $400 million. And the Mississippi Department of Corrections is supposed to be autonomous. It's supposed to take care of itself. And guess what? It could do that. It would take about 5 to 7 years, and it would take some serious thought. But I already have a plan laid out that would get almost all the way to that. The law that states that the Mississippi Department of Corrections is supposed to take care of itself, I think, is 47-5-1. I've already mentioned that one time, so I want to go on. The thing that's important is to realize that if the Mississippi Department of Corrections could become autonomous, or even 2/3 or 3/4 autonomous, you're looking at somewhere between $200 and $300 million that we could put toward educating our children. What kind of a benefit would that give us? Mississippi produces some of the finest people in the world, and those people are being hurt every day. I mentioned a few of those people in my last post, and real quick, I'm going to mention something else here. Mississippians don't have to be born and raised here in Mississippi. They might move to Mississippi, and because of the ambience that we give them, because of the environment that they find here in Mississippi, the good people, the people who are honest and respectful, the people who expect their courts to do the right thing, the people who honor the laws, the people who come into Mississippi and see this, they become so easily ensconced here. And you find them everywhere you go. I had to go to the coast a couple of days ago, met a young lady in a restaurant. She is a waitress there, and her name is Nicole. You could not find a kinder, sweeter, friendlier young person than Nicole. She hasn't been married very long. Her husband is serving in the military, and we thank him so much for that service. They're a young married couple, and she's like so many other Mississippians. She does a really good job. She helps support her family. And to be honest, as the old saying goes, she's cuter than two speckled puppies under a red wagon. She works at Shaggy's on the coast, the one that's closest to Gulfport. So if you go in there, say hello to her. She will be thrilled because she's a good Mississippian. Right here in Mendenhall, we've got great people, just like everywhere else in Mississippi. Pastor Mansell Carter, everybody calls him Pastor Pete. He is a man of God. He is kind of hard-nosed. He's old school. He expects things to be done like they should be done. but he's got a heart of gold. I go over and help him sometime, doing little things, and I'm really glad to do that. He gets a little upset because I won't let him pay me, but he is a fine, fine individual. These are the kinds of people that are being hurt. These are the kinds of people that I am here for. You don't realize just how much Mississippians are being hurt every time, every single time the Mississippi Supreme Court makes a decision which has nothing to do with the Constitution or the law. And we're going to talk about those decisions in detail. So please keep up with me. Now, I have rambled on for a little while, and I apologize for that, but this is something I'm very adamant about. And I am prone to doing a little rambling. When you come to Jackson, if you come to Jackson to meet me, as I said, I will be there early, and I will be on the sidewalk in front of whatever building that I'm going to approach. I'll be really easy to find. Just look for the guy that looks like a cross between a muskox and a shag carpet. You say, well, that's him, that's me. And we can all have an opportunity to say something important to the people that we're going to approach. I will have some information available. I'll have some flyers, things that I think that many people will find interesting. At least I hope they will find interesting. Sometimes what I find interesting as an old man is not so interesting to some of you who are much younger. But I'm asking for all of you to come out and to meet with me, to say hello, and make whatever comments you wish. And as I said in my first video, it doesn't matter whether you agree with me or not. I'm sure that the judges will have some things to say once they realize what I've got to say right here, right now. And they will probably make comments, or at least they'll have some of their friends make comments if they're scared to get on here and put their name on here. But let me tell you this, I'm going to put their name on here myself. My next posting will name names. You can count on that. We're going to talk about some court rulings which are totally ridiculous. Over the course of what I'm going to do, I will be talking about some of the things that happened to me. Not because this is about me personally. As I said, that fight I'm going to continue to fight, but that's not why I'm here. It's about Mississippi. The fact that I mention those things is because a lot of things that were done to me fail the rules of the Constitution, and because of that, I can simply use them as examples. So please, when you look at my next post, which I'm going to try and put up, today is Sunday, so I'm going to try and put it up either Friday or Saturday of next week, hopefully Friday. And after that, I will be able to give you a much more definitive schedule for what I'm going to be doing. So please make comments, good or bad. And one thing that is important that I mentioned before, if for some reason you don't like me personally, I can live with that. But get together with your friends, get together with people that you know who are in business, and support the idea, support what it is that so many of us, I hope so many, will be trying to do in making changes. I will fight this fight until I die. End of story. No questions asked. And I hope that many of you, I hope all of you will follow along with me. But until the time that we can see those changes, I'm not about to put this banner down. I've said before, there'll be a lot said about me. I don't care. Say what you want to. Doesn't matter. Because I'm not going to go away. I'm not going to run and hide. Don't back down. This is from Mississippi. It's something that has to be done. So I haven't given you anything specific. When you watch a video made by anybody, you look for information that's beneficial to you. And I don't know that I've given you any in this particular posting, but it is my effort to try and get your attention and to let you know what's coming. This is the last one of these posts that I will make without at least a partial script. And it's the last one of these posts that I will make here. This is where I live. I may make a part of a post here, but I will also be making posts in Jackson. I'll be making posts in Hattiesburg when I go to the courts there. I'll be making posts in Leakesville when I go to the South Mississippi Correctional Institute there and try to get an audience with the superintendent there. I'll be making posts in Rankin County at the Central Mississippi Correctional Facility. And I'll be giving you a list of the names of people that I'm going to be trying to talk to and a lot more specifics and a lot more detail about what I am going to approach them with. So I want to say how grateful I am to even one of you if you decide to stand in this fight. Whether you decide to stand with me as an individual or whether you decide to get together with someone else, as long as you fight the fight, that's all that's important. I am not important. Everything I've ever had has been stolen. There's nothing left of me, and that's okay. Like I said before, understand this. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not trying to be a martyr. I'm here to fight a fight. I'm going to fight that fight. And it is not about me. It's about Mississippi. So thank you for your time. And one last thing. I live in Mendenhall. I go down to McGee quite often. So if you happen to see this post and you live in the area and you see me out and about, please stop me for a moment. Say hello. If you have a comment to make about my post, I would appreciate it very much. If you say, you're a crazy old man, I'll be okay with that. If you have comments to make which are not supportive, I'll be okay with that. If you have comments to make which are supportive, I'll be so very grateful. But I will use all those comments as well as the comments that I get on these posts, if I get any, and I hope to get a lot. I will use those to help structure the way that I approach this fight. I want to hear from as many citizens of this state and even citizens of other states where you feel the oppression of injustice and unconstitutionality, so that I can help as many people as I can with the changes that we need to make. The system has to be. It is a necessity. There are people who will never live within the confines and the constraints of societal values, and they have to be dealt with. So understand that I will be as fair and balanced as I can, but then I'm going to be very critical, because right now critical is the thing that's needed. Thank you all again. I trust you have a great afternoon, a great evening, or a great morning, depending on where you are when you see this. God bless you all. Thank you so much. And look for me again next Friday. Today is Sunday. And give me 7 days to make another one of these posts. And I will give you a lot more information about where I'm going to be and what we're going to be doing. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.